critical problem, and definitely what we can talk about here. So, texting, what is it for? Fundamentally, if you're trying to get to know someone or get to know someone better, you don't want to try to trigger oxytocin, which is the love and bonding chemical, um, through texting.
Okay.
In other words, you don't really want to try to get to know them that much through text. Like, obviously, casual conversation is fine. Um, but what triggers oxytocin? Oxytocin, which is love and trust chemical, is triggered through deep conversation, physical touch, laughter, and sex. And people will try to have deep conversations, tell jokes, and like sext, right? You can't
Yeah.
really text, but you can like, Skype or what have you. Or Skype, I'm an idiot. Zoom or, FaceTime. There you go, FaceTime. You can FaceTime people, right? And so the reality is it's not a good substitute for in-person interactions if you're trying to build a connection, which is oxytocin. What it is good for is creating anticipation and desire. Because we all know what it's like. Let me just delete that. We all know what it's like when we are waiting hand and foot for a text message because we like somebody and we're having fun talking to them.
Yeah.
That's dopamine, not oxytocin. Okay. And so essentially, what we're doing is we're making someone addicted to our time and attention. Okay. Now, in order to become addicted to something, it has to bring immense amount of pleasure and generally speaking, be sporadic, meaning it it doesn't always give you the same result or the same what would you say, level of high every single time,
Yeah.
right? Because otherwise you become satiated. You can eat chocolate until you're satiated, but you become addicted to something when you don't get it all the time. But when you do get it, it becomes a high and you chase after it. And you chase after it and you don't always get it. So it's inconsistent,
Okay.
but it's high, right? That's how you become addicted to something. Okay. So to texting, forgive my handwriting, is for desire, not connection. So when people talk about playing games through text message, I don't respond until she responds. I don't double text. If she takes 6 hours to text back, then I have to take 6 hours to step back. First of all, I think that's stupid.
Yeah.
Just on a human to human level, it's a stupid game to play. It's pretty damn arbitrary. But the reason it's taken over as far as pop culture is concerned is because, even though people don't know it, it's triggering dopamine. And so it is essentially just a way to artificially reproduce dopamine when people have no idea what dopamine is, how it works, or why it works that way. Instead, it is much better to be genuine, authentic, real, and interesting and funny because you can do fun. Funny works. Funny is great. right?
Yep.
Can you just Wi-Fi on your phone just to make sure there's no, yeah. Um, and so there's a number of ways you can do that. One, assuming you have the same sense of humor, you can send memes, inside jokes. Forgive my handwriting. I'm writing on a notepad here, not a pen. Um, memes, inside jokes, videos. Four, fundamentally, laughter. I have doctor's handwriting. And that is much better than having deep conversations through text because it's a short, quick exchange, little effort, big result, not a lot of time. So that short and punchy, like framework is exactly what we're looking for when it comes to texting. Now, what's really interesting is that when people talk about like being a challenge through text message, like don't always be available, it's far better to have an interesting life because then you can be like, you can send a, let's just say a selfie of you doing something fun. Okay. Take a picture, background of whatever the fuck you're doing. Maybe you're at a restaurant. Maybe you're, I don't know, playing pool. Maybe you're at the bar. Maybe you're kayaking. I don't care what your hobby is, but doing that thing. Take a selfie and you go, wish you were here. I'd love to invite you sometime, but I gotta go. Send the picture with that caption.
Okay.
Now, she knows you're actually doing something that's fun that she would probably like to be a part of if she's texting you. And when you say, oh, I gotta go, it's not a game. It's not you playing this like 6 hour wait so that way she's addicted to you game. It's you actually living an interesting life, doing something for you, not to manipulate her, just so we're clear. And the next time you invite her out, she has full faith and confidence that what you do together is going to be fun and interesting because very clearly you lead a fun and interesting life. And so, in this way, your text game, as it were, is very brief, very short, very sporadic, because you're not having deep conversations through text. And it's a tool to invite in-person interactions. And that's where you build oxytocin. So, text equals desire, or at least it should. In person equals connection. And what was the whole workshop about yesterday? The
Building
dance,
rapport.
right? Building rapport, breaking rapport, but
Yeah.
fundamentally, different way, the dance between connection and desire. And so this is an extension of that.
Okay.
In person, you build connection, which is building rapport, which is oxytocin. Through text, you want to send jokes, tease, be playful, be challenging. That creates desire. Now, in person, realistically, you can absolutely do both, right? You can create connection and desire. But what you don't want to do is try to create connection through text. Because to your point, one, it takes a lot of time. Two, you run out of shit to say.
Yeah.
And so it ensures that you have something to talk about in person. And the best part is, if you do this right, you get to create inside jokes when you hang out that you can then reference through text, which reinforces the positive feeling she had when she hung out with you, whatever you two were doing. So, using this infographic, as it were, be engaging. Yes, I agree with that. How? Through humor. How else? Planning dates, basically setting up logistics. So we'll say logistics. Okay. Use humor, curiosity, mind the cadence. That's exactly right. Now, when it comes to investing in someone emotionally, right? Because when we're attracted to them emotionally, we're kind of hung up on them, right? We like them. We get excited when they text us. We get excited when they give us our time and attention. We get excited when we share and bond over late night conversations. Don't get me wrong, it's great. It's amazing. You can do it over phone call. The problem is it doesn't leave room for desire or anticipation, and it can ultimately fuck you because you don't have much to talk about in person and that you risk them feeling satiated with the interaction. Now, I would love to tell you that, not everybody's the same, and that's true. Not everybody is the same. However, human beings are extremely predictable.
Yep.
We are biological creatures that evolve through evolution. And when you understand the evolution of our behavior, ours and theirs, then you understand what game you're playing when it comes to building traction. So you can use inside jokes. Bring that up again. Jokes, reference conversations, so convos, to justify and qualify hanging out. We could call those dates, but that would be assuming that you've properly built attraction with someone that is already attracted to you. Because we could be texting somebody that's a friend that we like, but we're not sure if they like us back.
Yeah.
And so the goal is the hangout. The goal is spending time together fundamentally. Okay. Why? So we can actually build more oxytocin. If you have an inside joke, I don't know, about I don't know, she fell and looked goofy, and you kind of playfully tease her about it, and that's like your inside joke about, she's dangerous to hang out with because she's a threat to, public safety. I don't know. I'm making something up, right? Like whatever your inside joke is.
Yeah. Like don't let her get behind the wheel of a car, otherwise she'll run you over, something like that, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly. right? As long as it's an inside joke between you two, then it's a
Yeah.
game you two are playing. And then you can use that to be like, I'd love to invite you to hang out with me as you take your selfie, right? But I'm worried that you're gonna trip over like a billiard ball and then, we're gonna have to call the ambulance and it'd ruin the night. But it seemed kind of cool, so maybe I'll invite you. Ha ha. And she goes, yeah, you're right. That probably would happen, but at least it'd be fun. Ha ha. Guess what she did? She basically said, yeah, invite me to that thing.
Yep.
And all you did was reference an inside joke and kind of playfully tease that you would invite her, but
Night, Mom. Love you
notice you
too.
didn't actually invite her. She invited herself.
Exactly.
Right.
Sorry about that.
No, no, you're fine. You're fine. I get it. I have kids roaming around in the back. I'm sure that's being picked up on the audio. So the recording.
Actually, not tonight. No, I don't hear them.
All right. Well, to everyone watching on YouTube, I apologize. Um, yep. So you can be direct. You can create a clear plan after they've invited themselves, to which you go, yeah, no, I'd love to invite you out. Because let's just say she says something to the effect of, and again, I'm inventing a conversation, yeah, you're right, I probably would trip, but we'd have fun, winky face or haha or whatever. And be like, all right, well, I usually come out on Tuesdays, so if you're down, I'd love to invite you. And she goes, yeah, or Tuesdays at 7. I don't know, whatever it is. But it's better to have pre-planned dates like this, or events, I should say, not dates, events of things that you do regularly, ideally around a hobby that you both enjoy. So that way, when you invite her, it's not like you're going out of your way to do something that you don't normally do, only for her to cancel or ghost or something like that. Instead, worst case scenario, she does cancel and ghost. What actually happens is you get to do what you do and enjoy doing on your own with the people you wanted to hang out with anyway, because it's not a one-on-one date yet. It could be, maybe you are there, in which case, like, we'll talk about that later, right?
Yeah.
Because you're just hanging out casually, this gives you the chance to use the attraction formula that we discussed yesterday and to build attraction. From there, you can lead into more romantic, we'll say efforts, as opposed to gestures. Because if you're playfully, building rapport, breaking rapport, qualifying for certain behaviors, and escalating, right? Let's just say she's down to earth and fun. Someone joined the call. Okay. Let's just say she's super down to earth and fun. You've qualified for that behavior. Then you can be like, I'm having a blast. I don't know how much time you have in the day, but like, would you be down to like just go for a walk and I don't know, we'll get some ice cream, my treat, something like that.
Okay.
And essentially what you did was you took it from a casual, low pressure public setting to a one-on-one
Oh,
that she said yes to because you've done everything else correctly. But what you did not do was go from text to offer a date. That can work, does work sometimes, but you're leaving it up to her. And I much prefer to be in control. I much prefer to lead the interaction and know that if I just follow the principles, this woman and I are going to have a great time.
okay.
So we don't want to overextend through text message, meaning spending too much time on text message. And instead of pretending to be a challenge or pretending to be busy, we post photos on social media because, by the way, social media should act as your dating profile. And or you take pictures and send it to her, not quite like Snapchat. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying take stupid selfies and send them to her and be like, "So what are you doing today?" That's stupid. I don't like that. But you could be out fishing, you could be out kayaking, you could be out getting coffee and you take a picture of your coffee. You take a picture of your coffee with your computer in front of you and you're like, "Ah, about to get to work. I'll chat with you later?" Question mark. To
Yeah.
which she goes, inevitably, "Yeah, I'd love that." Leaving much to be desired, wanted, longed for, etc., especially if she enjoys your company. And then in a few hours, you can text her and just be like, "Hey, finally done with work. Um, when are you free next, by the way?" Now, in a perfect world, you've pre-planned dates during dates. We can talk about that later, but it does give you the option to handle logistics because that fundamentally is what text is for. Text is to handle logistics of the next time you hang out. Maybe for humor, right? In other words, you can use it for humor as a means to build oxytocin. But the whole point is texting is not meant to be a source of oxytocin. It is meant to create a desire so that way they are compelled to hang out with you, to spend time with you, to think about you. Therefore, texting is just a logistical tool to make sure that they can do that, to facilitate the next time you guys actually do hang out. You following so far?
Yep.
So, whether your hangout turns into a date or not is irrelevant. Maybe she has something going on. Maybe she's cool, but you're not really sure about her yet. Happens. Doesn't matter what the reason is. But what you should do, can do, every single time, whether it's platonic or romantic, is during your hangout slash date, pre-plan, Jesus, pre-plan and organize next date. If I was writing with a pen, this would be cool, but really it's just my finger going like this. So forgive me. All right. So during the date, let's just say you met up for coffee. I don't care if you met through a dating app or you guys are friends or it's a work lunch, doesn't really matter. We'll just assume it's casual, right? So it's a hangout, not a date. Then you start making jokes, you build connection, you go through the attraction formula, which, by the way, anyone who hasn't watched it should absolutely watch it. And as you're qualifying for interests, hobbies, passions, things that you would both love to do together, you get to say, "Oh my God, OMG." Me too. Especially if you both hit off something you both enjoy doing. And then you say, "I don't do that enough," or "I do that all the time. You should come with," right? And what have you effectively done? You've pre-planned the next date instead of what everybody does, which is stupid, is you have your date or hangout, and then you say bye, and then you text, and then you go, we should do that again sometime. In which case, time has been passed. And now, worse, because we still don't know how she feels about you potentially, you're competing with her schedule. And most people don't live by a schedule, so they think they're busier than they are. Oh, I don't know. My week's pretty busy. But like realistically, if you talk to somebody and ask them what their week is, it's like going to work, coming home, watching TV for like 4 hours, being a bum, doing it all over again. And then on the weekend, like maybe they do something, maybe they don't. But either way, for sure, they're not that busy. And that's why most people are like, if they really cared or really liked you, they would make time for you. And like, yeah, that's true, but that's not how the human animal operates. Most human beings are very bad at managing their time, and they overestimate how long time takes to actually accomplish a thing or how much time they actually have. So, knowing that and anticipating that, we never, ever, 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 ever want to discuss another hangout during or after a date. We always want to do it during. So, what does that mean? That means if, God forbid, you have your pre-planned date and then Tuesday rolls around and she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I have to cancel. You don't go, fuck, she doesn't like me. I knew it. What a bitch, right? Like you'd be surprised, but I get those messages from clients where they're like, she doesn't fucking like me. It's like, no, man, maybe she got busy. Maybe something really did. Maybe. It's probably better to assume that. In which case, because every guy reacts the same way, she doesn't like me. And they let their like hurt feelings bleed through their text message responses. Or they don't reply right away. And then she's like, that's weird. We were just texting. Why is he not replying? Maybe he's being petty. Women aren't stupid. You could just say, oh, no pressure. I get it. Life happens. We can always do it again sometime. And then you go about your life having fun, taking selfies, or posting on your social media account, whether you use Instagram, Facebook, doesn't really matter. But essentially, your whole life should be around you looking like you have an amazing life. Because even if someone does cancel, because I mean, let's be real, we're competing with time and attention of things that are either urgent, important, spontaneous, that just came up, my car broke down, whatever the fuck it is. Life happens.
Yep.
You want them to invite themselves. And if not, you want them to almost certainly say yes every time you offer the invite to them. And as long as they can see your life and they think that, you're not reactive when they cancel on you, then it's pretty damn low pressure, low maintenance. Now, here's the kicker. This wasn't something I was going to go over in this conversation, but like it's relevant. When we're in a relationship, and I mean like a committed relationship or marriage, okay? We are absolutely, without question, supposed to give our all to them, to, we'll just say our person. However, when we're just dating, or let's just say talking, not even in the dating stage yet, Or maybe even below talking, we're just hanging out. Like, I don't really know how I feel about this person. Maybe she doesn't know how she feels about you. No worries, we're not taking offense to it. She's willing to hang out with us. That's what matters. So that's definitely worth remembering. We do not want to over invest time, emotions, or money. Why? Because God knows, any single guy knows, you can fucking bleed money real quick. And if you invest your emotions, you care more than she does. That's a turn off for everyone. You lose her. You invest your time in her and she cancels, and suddenly you're like, well, fuck, there goes my plans. Whereas you already had plans, you just invited her to it. And so the blow doesn't really hurt nearly as much. And assuming your hobby is based around something social, you have other people to hang out with anyway. Who knows? Maybe you meet someone new and you kind of take them on a date in that day, right? Like, but you see how it all just kind of works for you, and it's not asking you to go out of your way to do anything that you don't already want to do. Now, I get it. Some people have hobbies like playing with, like building Legos and fucking, watching anime or playing video games or, something more indoors. You're right. That is where things get a little bit more complicated because obviously not all hobbies translate. Okay. In either case, when you're dating, you don't want to invest anything into the other person that they aren't willing to invest in you. In other words, you want to match investment, not give. You can lead, sure. You can offer something like, hey, I'd love to hang out sometime. That's a form of investment. And if she takes it, cool. But this, I think most guys think that they have to give their time and attention to prove that they're worthy enough or that they're actually interested so that she knows, so that way she can decide how she feels about you. That's silly. Go about your life, invite people, not just the one girl, because that would be overly, over investing in one person. And as you make friends and as you build connections and you learn these skills of attraction, because remember, they are skills that you must practice, then what happens is, again, the blow of one person canceling doesn't really affect you as much. But two, when you have like no stake in the game and they come back later, there's no hard feelings. Your life is significantly less stressful, less resentful, less distrusting, because repeating this process just means that you're filtering out everyone else that can't really get their shit together to manage their time. But you're in a position where you can find new people constantly. And so you're only hanging out with the people that you want to hang out with because you have shared hobbies and interests and who actually can manage their time. In which case, you then get to match their investment to make sure that you are rewarding them for putting time, effort, and attention into you. And when they do that, because you're rewarding them, you are effectively enhancing their desire because they made the investment. You rewarded their effort. They get to feel good about that. They get to anticipate the next time you guys hang out. Because here is a pro tip for dating, relationships, marriage. We value what we invest in, not what invests in us. Or you can change the what for who. We value who we invest in, not who invests in us. In other words, we have all heard the story, whether it's from movies or someone you know. I did everything for this person and it wasn't enough. Yep, you did. You did everything. You invested, therefore you cared. We value what we invest in. We think that if we invest in someone else, they will be thankful, appreciative, and desire us. But the reality is, we've satiated them, whether it's a need or a want. And if you've ever been starving and ate till you're full until you're satisfied, you don't want it anymore. You're satiated. Are you with me so far, or do you have any questions? Have I lost you anywhere?
Uh, pretty clear. It makes sense big time.
Okay, perfect. So now, yes, I agree with this. Put your phone away. When you're on the date, I'm horrible at this. In fact, my girlfriend just gave me a dirty look. She's laughing. But I also have ADHD. And I know it's a weakness, but despite being a flawed human, I would agree with the sentiment. Yes, be present with your partner. Now, I would also say do something with your partner that's engaging because maybe they have ADHD and maybe they're on your phone and then you get resentful. But we're just anticipating human behavior. We don't have to anticipate the entire like possibilities of what person has what ADHD or not ADHD or attention span or anything like that. We don't have to anticipate everything for everyone under the sun. We just have to understand that human beings really focus on shit they like doing, period. And if they're having fun, time flies and they lose time. They're like, wow, like those 2 hours went by so quick. I can't believe it. Perfect. Great. You did your job. Now, a text message could be, you know, you pre-plan the date, first of all. So that already happened like well before the end of the date with a date and time, by the way, not just Tuesday, Tuesday at 9, Tuesday at 8. And then you get the commitment. Yeah, that works for me. I'm free Tuesday at 8. Absolutely. Cool. We'll reach out to you Tuesday. Then you hang out, you end the night and you go, I had so much fun. Too bad you suck at skee ball. Right? Whatever it is. Can't wait to see you Tuesday. Who knows? Maybe there's a different game. Maybe there's something you're actually good at, winky face. Right? But I'm challenging that way. Like I'm playful shit talker. I like those kinds of women. Trust me, there are some types of women that do not like those kinds of interactions. But kind of going off topic, that's what you qualify for using the attraction process. Again, for anyone watching, go watch the attraction formula. And that pretty much covers texting and dating. Now, if we had examples that I could break down, that'd be great. If you have examples of, a time when, we can go through that as well. But if there's no questions, I think that about covers this one.
Okay.
So then my question for you is how can you use this in the very near future with anyone you know to build a more enjoyable social life? Because our dating life should be built off of the foundation of our pre-existing social life. If our dating life is the only thing that exists without a social life, we overvalue, overcare, overinvest, and then it really fucking hurts our feelings when they cancel plans because we don't have a social life when we're super lonely. Make sense?
Absolutely.
Cool. So, I guess to ask you, John, what are hobbies that you could implement regularly? Could be weekly, could be monthly, could be bi-weekly, doesn't really matter. Obviously, the more frequent, the better, but like, whatever it is. Could be a game store, could be,
Um,
going out for drinks to watch the game. Doesn't really matter.
uh, Golf simulating, or going to one of those driving range in dome driving range things.
Okay, so TopGolf.
Yeah,
Okay, so TopGolf. Okay,
yeah,
perfect. And you can do that just by yourself with yourself and meet people who are also playing TopGolf
yeah,
because it's super open and super like there's people next to you. And yeah, they might be doing their own thing. That's where you get to use something like indirect openers to start conversation. Openers. There we go. Words. To start conversation. And then you can make it even like a playful competition where you can be like, tell you it could be a group of it doesn't matter. That's the thing about a social life is it doesn't matter if it's men, women, like it just you're being social, right?
yeah.
And then, you make a comment about how, they missed or they did well. It doesn't really matter, but you're interacting with a stranger. And then you go, let me see if I can do better. Let me see if I can do that. And now everyone's stopping what they're doing to watch you. And if you do it, cool. They celebrate you. Ah, that was awesome.
Okay.
If you don't do it, like who cares? But you had their time and attention. And now, again, you still get to transition into conversation. You guys seem so down to earth. Oh my God. I was just coming out here to hang out by myself and enjoy, swinging golf balls. I don't know the lingo clearly. Driving down the range, whatever it is. My name is John, by the way. What's your name? How do you guys know each other? And do you see how this calls directly back into yesterday's workshop?
Yeah, and then it's the dance of building and breaking rapport, and then yeah, oh yeah, this is all kind of meshing together.
Hmm. And the reality is, none of this requires you going to like bars or clubs or using dating apps. Like, obviously, they apply, but the whole point is this works regardless.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude.
absolutely.
This is dating. This is dating done right. This is dating without resentment, without distrust, without expectation. Because if you can trade your expectations for appreciation, the whole journey becomes way more enjoyable. Because you're just having fun. You're not expecting this person to be the one. You're out hanging out with someone, seeing how fun they are to hang out with, and you're creating memories. Maybe it's a casual thing, but you are certainly not lonely. And because you have a social life, your entire romantic life and self-validation is not based on this one person's time and attention. And that is how you use texting to set up dates and dates to build connection. So that way, when you text them, they get their dopamine hit. It's you. Got it?
Yep.
Perfect. Cool deal. All right, man. Well, unless there's any questions, that's it. But I've enjoyed this. Thank you so much. And we'll pick up on the next one, I want to say Wednesday, but it's in the school calendar. So for anyone that's interested, you can comment or message me, dating again, and I'll reach out to you and we'll give you a free consult and see how I can help you. But otherwise, for you, John, and for future students, yeah, just use the school group, man. I got you. And again, you have my cell phone, so you have 24/7 access to me, man. I got you.
Alrighty, sounds good, buddy.
Cool, cool. Have you met anybody since the last time we talked? We'll talk more about this.
Um, Not really, no, just brief interactions at like Costco and stuff like that.
Okay, perfect. That's better than nothing.
Yep.
Now we just need to figure out which hobbies you can have that builds a social life, so that way everything else grows on top of that. Cool?
Yes, absolutely. And I'm still working on the Instagram thing that you gave me homework for.
Nice. Love to hear it.
Okay.
All right, man. Well, I'll touch base with you offline, but well done.
All right. Talk to you.
Bye.
Bye.